This video is sponsored by Squarespace. I have a secret tool in my studio that I use literally every time I make something, and for some reason I've never talked about it. I use this every single time I wedge my clay, roll a slab, or work with any kind of hand building. Do you know what it is yet? The humble wedging board. This simple tool is my absolute favorite work surface because 1, it is easy and cheap to make. 2, it's low maintenance and really easy to clean. And 3, it is the perfect work surface because it gives you a solid worktop, but the cloth makes it porous so that when you're rolling out clay, it doesn't stick. Today, I'm going to show you how to make one. So here's what you'll need. Some cloth, a staple gun, and a wooden board. So let me quickly just answer any questions you might have about the materials themselves, and then I'll show you how to make one yourself. The best cloth to use is canvas. This is a cheap cotton, heavy woven cloth that you can get at a hardware store or art store or even online. I'll link a couple options for you down below. But in reality, you actually don't need to buy anything. I've in the past used things like old pillowcases, bed sheets. What you need to make sure is that it's a natural fiber, ideally cotton or hemp or some sort of plant-based fiber. And then you want the cloth to be a flat weave, so something that doesn't have a lot of texture to it, because that texture, when you're rolling out slabs, will transfer to the slab. So all fabric will have a little bit of texture to it, but just find a fabric that's more or less smooth. Also, maybe obvious, but make sure it's a woven fabric and not a knit so it's not like stretchy. For the board, my favorite material to use is like a thicker plywood. In my opinion, this is the best to use because the way that it's made is it's layering different layers of wood, and some of the wood grains are going like this, some of the wood grains are going like that. It's much, much less likely to warp. In the past, I've used wood, like normal, I guess, glued together wood. And because that has one specific direction of grain, it tends to warp. So I don't know if you can tell, but this one is warped, which is fine for wedging, which is why I keep it, but it's not ideal for rolling out slabs. You could also use something like composite board or MDF. However, that's likely to break down a little bit faster just because those materials tend to absorb water way more than a plywood would. In terms of the size that you choose, so I like to choose fairly big sizes. This one is 40 by 60 centimeters. I like to make them a little bit bigger. What is this one? I think this is 50 by 50 more or less, because this is going to limit the size of slab that you can roll out. Also, you want it to be like heavy enough so that when you're wedging, it's not being pushed on the table. Like, that's kind of annoying. This one, how thick is this? This one was just a random offcut that's like way thicker than it needs to be. This one is 2.3 centimeters. And this one is 15 millimeters. So I would say at least 15 millimeters thick. This is also going to help with things like warping and make it nice and heavy and robust. That's what we want. You could go thicker though if you wanted to, if you find a piece of wood. Okay, and then the last thing is a staple gun. So I finally went ahead and purchased this like hardcore staple gun, but I'll let you know that I used this normal like mechanical staple gun for a really long time. So you don't need to buy something like this. And this thing costs like $10 or something like this from like a craft store or a hardware store. But I'll have you keep in mind that this one, more likely than this one, you're going to need to also have a hammer nearby, because this is, depending on the density of your board, the staples might not go all the way through. At least that was a problem with mine. So you might just need an extra hammer to pound those staples in. Okay, we've got our materials. Let me show you how to make the board. Let's take a little break to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you've never heard of Squarespace before, they are a website that you can go to create your very own professional looking website. I've pretty much been using Squarespace ever since I started my business, and I'm still using them for my website today. There's a few things that I love about Squarespace, one of which is their online shop where you can sell physical or digital products like I do with my templates. 2, they have beautiful design templates that are super customizable, so you can change them to fit your brand, your style, what you want to do with your website. And 3, you can cultivate a community with the members area, where you can sell memberships to exclusive sections in your website. So head to squarespace.com right now for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/potterytothepeople to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Now let's get back to the video. So what I want you to do is cut the fabric out so that's 10 centimeters wider than your board on all sides. Don't worry about measuring or making it perfectly flat. We're just eyeballing it for now. Something like, maybe a little more, something like this. We want to leave enough room for us to turn the edge, you know? Next, you want to choose the side board that is the smoothest. So look for knots, look for any nicks. I've got a little nick here at the corner, so I think even though the side has a knot on it, the knot is pretty smooth. So I think I'm gonna put this side, this is gonna be my good side. So the good side you wanna put facing down. Okay, so at this point, if you've ever stretched a canvas for like a painting, it's exactly the same technique. So we're gonna do 2 passes. The first one is going to be to stretch, and the second one is going to be to fold the seam. So take the side that's closest to you, and you're gonna hold your cloth like this. So you can pull up with your thumb, and then with your dominant hand, I can't show you because I'm holding the camera right now, you're gonna use the staple gun. The first one you don't need to pull up so hard, just pull it so it's taut, and then staple more or less in the middle. So when you're stapling in the beginning, like this first round of staples, you want to not staple it too close to the edge of the fabric. Leave a little bit of room because remember, we're gonna wanna turn this fabric later. So leave about, 2.5 centimeters, 3 centimeters of room so you can later turn your fabric. Now we've got one side, we're gonna do the exact opposite side. So here's my staple, I'm gonna go right over here. And now you need to pull. So I'm gonna really pull the fabric tight, turn it over. With my left hand, I can pull it up now, keep it taut with my left hand, and I'm gonna go back in with my staple gun. Next, we're going to do these sides. So I'm basically making a cross in the beginning. So I'm gonna pull this one nice and tight. Well, even my fancy staple gun is not doing a very good job getting these all the way in. So just bring out your hammer. Last piece of the cross, so once again, pull it nice and tight and pull it over. Okay, now we've got our cross. Now we're going to go along one side and pull it tight. I'm gonna space out the staples so that they're about 3 to 5 centimeters apart. And then leave a little gap at the corners. We're gonna deal with the corners last. Leave about 5 to 7 centimeters gap at the corners. Each time we use our staple gun, we're gonna pull it tight and staple. Pull it tight, right above the staple. So we went one way all the way to the end, and now I'm going to just do the other half. So always wanna work from the inside out. Okay, our first side is completed. Now flip it to the opposite side. So you want to work with the side that is directly opposite now, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to go out from the middle out one way and from the middle out the other way. And then because this side is locked in now, it's really important that you are going to pull this side very taut. So now we've got our 2 sides fully done, and now I'm going to repeat this process with the 2 shorter ends. And once again, make sure you leave a little gap for us to turn the corners later. Okay, now it's time to deal with our corners. Now, what I want you to do is fold it like a square, and then like so, and then like so. Okay, so you've got a nice rounded edge. This way, you can pull your corner tight and do that. I'm not gonna go quite up to the edge yet because I wanna tuck this in later. I'm gonna do all my tucking at the end. So once again, fold it into a square. This is gonna make a rounded edge here. So you wanna make it a square, and then either this side first or this side first, doesn't matter. I guess I wanna make them to match, so this side first, and then this side first. You have a nice, even square. There's loads of ways to make canvas edges. There's like all these different techniques, but this is what I do. I feel like it's pretty simple. But like, there's not really a right way or wrong way. Like, just fold your edges how you want to. It doesn't need to look neat. Don't over stress about it. Okay, and then last step is we want to fold over the edges. I mean, this step is totally optional, but I do think it probably helps your wedging board from fraying. It's going to be rubbed against the table a lot, right? So it could end up fraying. I don't know, it's something that I've always done. So what I like to do is turn over the edges, and then this is me definitely being a little extra, but what I like to do is take this opportunity, because I'm adding staples, I'll just fill in the gaps between the staples. So if there's 2 staples here, I'll put the final staple right in the middle. I'm a Virgo, what can I say? And then for the edges, they can get a little messy. I try and tuck as much as I can. So just try and smooth it out. So that's it. That's how you make your wedging board. Now, before you go, let me give you a few tips how to make your wedging board last. So you don't have to do this, but you might want to have separate wedging boards for separate clays, because the wedging boards do stain. Pretty sure this is the exact same fabric. And this is just from light colored clay. So I don't do this because all my clays are stoneware and they're not like pristine, let's just say. They're not like a porcelain or something. So for example, if you're using a porcelain and you don't want any of your other clays, like maybe your terracotta, your dark clays, to get mixed in and stain the clay, like it's not going to be enough clay transfer to actually affect the firing temperature of your clay, but it will potentially stain your clay. So for cleaning your bats, I recommend just using a wet sponge. I know it sounds kind of funny to use a wet sponge on fabric, but I clean my wedging boards just like I clean any other work surface. The most important thing is that when you do clean your wedging board with water, you want to let it dry out completely. This is to prevent warping. So what I do is I'll wash it and then I'll lay it somewhere to dry. I used to stack my wedging boards, but I always made sure they dried out fully. So I would set them to dry, and then to put them away, I would stack them. Along those same lines, you don't want to leave clay or water on your wedging boards very long. So like overnight, for example. Wedging boards are not to be confused with plaster bats. You don't want to use these for reclaim. Your wedging boards are for working on, and at the end of the day, you should let them dry out. Now, plaster bats are another absolute essential for your pottery studio. So if you haven't made them yet, check out this video next, where I teach you my foolproof formula to making long-lasting plaster bats. Bye, friends.